Hello, viewers, and welcome to this edition of 30 Minutes, an interactive program that interviews newsmakers in Nigeria. With me today is the governor of Kano State, His Excellency Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. Your Excellency, here we are in your vast office, and what strikes me about you is that you paid your dues before becoming the governor. You started in political participation in the Second Republic with the National Party of Nigeria. You had very good education, 2 master's degree, a PhD, working experience in the Federal Capital Territory, commissioner, deputy governor, and governor. Could there have been anybody better prepared than you before coming to this executive chair?
Thank you very much. You are most welcome to my small office. Anyway, first of all, I have to congratulate you, the Media Trust, that has given birth to the Daily Trust. And now the Media Trust is giving another birth to Trust TV. Thank you for your comments, for your complimentary. Yes, there is no doubt that I have joined politics since the second coming of democracy in Nigeria. During the time of NPN, I participated. In fact, I even contested for election, though I lost. You know, at that time, Kano was the home of People's Redemption Party of Malam Aminu Kano. But equally the same, it was not winning the election that was of importance to me at that time. It was the participation in politics. As a lecturer at Bayero University, I thought I should participate in active politics, partisan politics. I knew I would not win, but however, I contested. And also coming to public service, I started with Kano State government as a teacher, a lecturer at our first college of education. Then thereafter, I moved to Abuja, where also I was a civil servant, chairman of a local government, 3 local government, in fact, Gwagwalada, Abaji, and Kwali. And then eventually I became a director at national level. And somehow I came back to Kano State as a commissioner of works, housing, and transport, where I served 3 military administrators here in Kano, and eventually I joined politics again, because when the partisan politics was lifted, I became nostalgic again, and I joined, and I eventually became the deputy governor, and moving to that up till now, since where I am today. Governor, I commissioner for 6 years, deputy governor for 8 years, governor for 6 years now, going to 7 years. So I could say that I intermingled between politics and public service.
How were you able to keep your head down? I mean, given the intrigues of politics and even public office, how were you able to survive all the intrigues and come to the top?
Well, you see, I cannot call it intrigues as that, but rather it is a challenge which we always convert to opportunity, as I have been mentioning. Because first of all, politics is a platform for public service, especially during democratic dispensation. So you find that they are interrelated. Politics is an issue of public interaction, an issue of having a direction, having a blueprint, having what you want to achieve, while public service is an issue of implementation, it's an issue of actualizing what you conceive in the art of politics.
So will you say you are achieving what you set out to? I mean, as the man who makes the decisions in Kano now.
I think so, but people are in a better position to say so. But I feel that we are trying, and we shall continue to try to achieve for the purpose of which we have been voted into office. Of course, there are challenges, but I can say that we try our best in order to see how we can solve people's problems.
You've done quite a lot in terms of development in the main city, that's Kano city, in terms of road network, in terms of underpasses, in terms of the brick and mortar. But what about human development? I mean, you started out as an educationist. Are you satisfied with the level of development in terms of education, in terms of opportunities for greater number of people in Kano?
Well, certainly one will find it very difficult to say that one is fully satisfied because of the numerous challenges in all spheres of development, not only in education. But let me put it this way. Human development is the most important issue, especially in a developing country like Nigeria. What I mean by human development, the issue of education and the issue of health services to the people. Concerning education, education is direct, the problems of education are directly proportional to population. The more you have population, the more you have children to educate, and the more the challenges are there, especially in this part of the country where community participation is very minimal. So you find that government has to take the challenges squarely. So that is why we decided to come up with a policy of free and compulsory education. And you know this policy is heavily loaded. If you look at our population, the most populous state in the Federation, we have the highest number of public schools in the country. We have the highest number of public children in public schools in the country. And we have said education is free from primary to secondary. We have done this in order to make accessibility to education to all our children.
I want us to also shift a bit and talk about security or the lack of it, but from a different perspective. Around the last Eid al-Kabir, the Salah period, you pardoned or facilitated the pardon of over 100 people who were serving various terms in prison. But it appears that the Minister of the Interior is it's raising a bigger issue. It's not just about the numbers of people who could be pardoned. He's more concerned about the congestion, the general congestion in the prison, and the fact that governors are reluctant to sign death warrants of people who have gone through the judicial system, exhausted appeals, and are sitting there knowing whether they will reach tomorrow or not knowing, rather, whether they could reach tomorrow or not. Why are governors so reluctant over this matter?
Thank you very much for this question, especially pertaining to the pardoning of some of the prisoners. The genesis of that, of course, Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, gave a directive that governors should judiciously decongest the prisons because the prisons were getting overpopulated, especially with the COVID-19. So in order to implement that, we decided to constitute the committee, which did a lot of work on that. in that process, you find out some are on trial. They have not been convicted yet. You cannot touch that one. Some are on life imprisonment. Some are to be executed. And some save some jail terms. Some are old. Some are sick. So all these variables put in together, we use it in order to decongest the prison by pardoning them. The issue of signing death warrant for those who are condemned to death is the judicious process that is suspicious. Because sometimes I could recall that when our former chairman of our great party, the APC, the former governor of Edo State, one time he signed the warrant and somebody was killed, was executed judiciously. Later on it was discovered that he was not supposed to be executed. The judgment was faulty. So people, governors became so afraid in order to sign such death warrants like that. But from time to time we sign, but of course we think that issue should be looked into constitutionally to find out what measures that can be put in place so that people are not being killed and then to discover that they are not supposed to be killed and you cannot retrieve the life of a human being or the life of any creature as such. So I think that is a dilemma people are facing.
So governors are not too confident of the judicial system. I mean, people have gone through all this process, have exhausted their appeals, and then still, maybe it's unpleasant business. You don't want to do that.
But some of them have appealed. The appeal taken so many years, you don't even know. It's not concluded. Sometimes you sign the warrant and then you discover that even the appeal was not concluded. So I think it's an issue that really people should look into constitutionally.
But why are the politicians not dragging their feet when it comes to matters that suit them? For example, switching parties.
You are talking of different issue now.
Yes.
You are talking of political parties which are institutions of recruiting participation in politics.
Yes.
You are talking of partisan politics. You are talking of internal democracy. You are also talking of, crisis within democracy in a developing country like Nigeria. If you could recall, the Constitution of 1999, during when the democracy was returned to the people of Nigeria, you could not change your political party without resigning from the post that you are elected on. But due to the problems of internal democracy, some of the political parties did not manage internal democracy well. So you find that, especially in a presidential system, you are voted on a platform of a political party. At the same time, you are voted as an individual. Now, if you are to resign because you are changing a political party, then it means it is only the party that is governing your election. It is only the party that is a platform for democracy. But you as an individual, you have your own disposition. Yes. You have your own attributes. You have your own, approach to politics, approach to governance. Therefore, if an issue of political party is only taken into consideration, then you are dispossessed of all these qualities that you have simply because you have changed a political party. So I think it is an issue of democracy. We are still fine-tuning it. We are still in the learning process. That can take us to the issue of, ideology. in our politics, you know, the military started with so many political parties. Later on, they started aging out. You come with a few political parties, but up till now, you see many parties are being registered. So you find it, you see that it is very difficult to have a clear-cut line between one political party and another in terms of ideology.
So should there be ideology in matters of politics?
Yes, there should be ideology, but that one is evolving. It's not an issue that constitution will say develop an ideology. It's not an issue that the government will say develop an ideology. It's an issue that will evolve, and of course, it is coming with time. The politics is becoming more complicated, and people are becoming more enlightened. Even the voters are becoming more enlightened. So I believe in the long run, people will decide to say, now you are in this political party. Why are you in this political party? What attracted you to be in this political party?
But if we come back to this republic,
yes,
many Nigerians cannot distinguish the difference between, say, the APC, your party, and the PDP, the former ruling party, because they see that it's as if politicians have just turned them into vehicles for election, no more. And that is why it's easy to see one politician in one today and then tomorrow in another.
You are right by that your statement. And if you recall, I told you that we are in the process of development. Later on, people will be fed up. The electorate will be fed up of people coming from this to this, coming from here to here. So eventually, things will start streamlining itself, like we have seen in all the democracies, like the United States of America, where we are copying their presidential system of government. But as of now, people find it convenient to cross from one party to another party. But I assure you, it will be a big issue in future.
But this crossing, is it fair to the electorates? Because they thought they elected you on this platform because of these reasons, and then suddenly overnight, you switch parties.
It's not an issue of fairness to the electorate. Sometimes the electorate that will even ask you to change political party because of the problem of internal democracy within the party. The internal democracy is also within the structure of the political party, is also within the electorates themselves, because the electorates are the members of the political party. So you can see how complicated the situation is. But as I told you, it's a process of development. And we believe in due course, people will take course to a particular, belief, action, this character of the political party itself.
You mentioned internal democracy, and as we speak, your party for the last 1 year has an interim caretaker committee, and a recent judgment of the Supreme Court is sending shivers down the spine of, I assume, the APC, because there is the indication that all that is being done under this arrangement could be undone if it is challenged in court. Are you worried about that?
Well, our party is looking into that. We have many lawyers within the party who are looking into that. Of course, there are issues to be worried, but also at the same time, you see, as a ruling political party, we cannot take chances. So I think we are taking this issue seriously to see how the best way that we can manage it. Our lawyers are examining this issue, and I believe at the end of it, it will be resolved within the political party.
You mean you are about to sack the Buni-led committee and maybe do proper elections and not repeat all the things that they have so far done, like what congresses and what have you?
You see, it's a temporary leadership, as the name suggests. So they are not there to stay for long. It's a matter of a few months that they will remain. And if our lawyers find it convenient according to the constitution of our party and according to the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If we find that whatever we have done, we can redo it again. If we find that legally what we have done can stand the test of legality, then we forge ahead. But already we have a timetable. We have undergone through the world congresses. Now we are planning for the local government congress and then to the state congress and to the national convention. So at any stage that we feel that we are at risk, we can easily adjust according to the advice of our lawyers within the party.
It appears the calculation for the next election, that is 2023, is what is informing even the delay for having proper democratic, internal democracy within the party. Up to what point are you willing, as the big stakeholders, to push this arrangement?
Well, as early as possible. As you can see, we have a timetable, and I believe we'll follow the timetable until the end of it. So the present leadership of the party is a temporary leadership. In fact, the main focus of the leadership of the party now is to organize the primaries, not to go into real party administration, which many people are thinking that is what they are for. They are only here in order to organize, the congresses right from the ward up to the national convention of our party. So I believe we are following the timetable and we are sticking to the timetable. And at the end of it, we become a stronger party. Like you see, many people are crossing into our party, even some governors are crossing into our party. So you believe that we have to manage our internal democracy well, so that we go into election intact and strong, like when we came in 2015 and 2019.
They say all politics is local, and I believe your main concern should be Kano State, even if you may have ambitions of going further, especially in the next round of election. I've seen reports, some of which have been denied, about already some people have been anointed for the governorship of Kano State when your tenure ends. Do you have a position on this matter, or is it still too far up in your mind?
It's not only far, but it's too far. And what you read on newspapers is not true. It was a mischief, and people of Kano know that we have not anointed anybody to be as a gubernatorial candidate or senatorial candidate or any position or any elected position. We are more concerned in governance up to the time when INEC will come up with a timetable for election. But in democracy, you can always have that kind of things to happen, especially with fake news, with misjudgment because of mischief and certain things like that. So I assure you, we are all intact. All those who would like to contest for election, as far as we are concerned, they are all good politicians of the party, all eligible to contest for election. And when the time comes, it is our responsibility to see that we discuss among ourselves if we can negotiate and find that we don't have to go into real contest. We can opt for that. If we find that we have to go for that, then we go into that according to the rules and regulations of our own party and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
But personally, will you prepare a consensus arrangement?
Well, consensus is cheaper, consensus is healthier, provided it is a real consensus. It's not an issue that the leadership will camouflage in the name of consensus. But if it is a consensus, participatory consensus, I think is the cheapest and also the risk is limited, fallout is limited. And going with one voice, going with a single force to contest against other political parties, I think that is a better condition for that consensus. But if it is necessary, as provided by democracy, then people will go into election. If the election is free and fair, eventually only one person will evolve, and then the rest will follow suit.
Are you closely studying your officials so as to have maybe somebody that you think will better carry on with your legacy? Because we have had situations where governors said, look, I was studying all my officials and I thought that this particular person could best carry on with the legacy that we are leaving behind.
Well, psychologically, you can think of that, but situations determine certainly who becomes the successor. It is, when the time comes, you will see how variables will interact, how people are coming in. In fact, there could even be new entrants into the race, the ones that you don't even know. They can come in and they can be better people. Or even if they are not better for you, they are better for the electorates who will determine eventually. So it's very, very difficult to have a fixed mind like that, that this one you will hand over to this person because you think he will do better. Situations, conditions, psychological moments, political moments will change immediately after you hand over. So all your anticipation may be wrong. What is important is to have a peaceful transition. And then the person who has evolved to become the governor, then it's his own responsibility to carry on and to see how what we have built on will be sustained.
So you are having an open mind on the matter?
Yes, an open mind on the matter. But we are praying that we should have people who are responsible, people who should be able to continue with what we have done, like what we have inherited. We have not abandoned what we have inherited because we believe whatever was developed, it was developed with the people's money. And therefore, if we abandon them, then we abandon people's money. So we continue on that, and we hope those who are coming in will continue with the little that we have done.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Viewers, on this note, we've come to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes. Thank you very much for watching.